I'm going to talk candidly because I'm sort of sick of being quiet.
All right, before we begin, let's thank our great sponsors, and we've got some good sponsors. Now, remember, if you would like to be a part of the process, I would love to have a conversation with you. Sponsoring the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, just reach out to me via jasonbailey.com. Let's start. Inspect All Pest Services. Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, your pressure washing, your gutter maintenance, and other home services there in the metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Also, thanks to Inspect All Pest Services for sponsoring all of our guests on the BPX. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora with the Aurora Law Firm, theauroralawfirm.com. Best damn defense attorney in the land. He litigates all over the United States, based out of Georgia. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. theauroralawfirm.com. And if you have a legal question for the Mad Dog when he visits the BS, please go to jasonbailey.com and get that to me now. It's Ridgeline Counseling with Dr. David Markwell. If you need help, get help. He's got 10 therapists who work with him there at Ridgeline Counseling, 3 different locations in the state of Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains, in East Cobb, Marietta right there near the square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in those areas and you still need help from the best in the business, that'd be Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He does virtual sessions, which are extremely helpful, and you can set that appointment up at markwelltherapy.com. Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. And each and every one of you, 2 peers, when you become a customer, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, with a service contract, offering flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations and warranty repair. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, and you pay nothing until the job is complete, and you, the customer, are very, very happy. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go online, poweringgeorgia.com, or you can call 770-853-7571. Don't forget, use the discount code Bailey, and you get $500 off your entire installation. Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Beautiful, affordable bathing solutions. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower. They're a local family-owned and operated company committed to enhancing your bathroom experience in Metro Atlanta. They provide high-quality, safe, and affordable walk-in tubs and showers, focusing solely on installations that elevate your home's comfort and accessibility. They service all of Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, family-owned and operated, no commission sales guys. There's no hassle when you deal with MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. No high-pressure tactics. Go to their website and see the work that they're doing. Gen Xers, having them parents finally move in, and you're going to help them out, and you got to redo all that. Don't do it yourself. Go with the best in the business. These are the pros. MVPWalk-ins.com. Or you can call 404-493-6888. Mention the BPX, get $2,000 off. Again, mention the Bailey Podcast Exchange, BPX, or any of the shows, and you will receive $2,000 off from MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, administering ozone therapy or activated oxygen therapy non-invasively through what is called the Hocket sauna. Also offering red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PEMF, as well as naturally in-house made ozone-infused products online, like that magnesium butter. AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com to book your appointment or to shop all of the products for Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, as well as the brand new Alive Ozone Therapy Spa app. If you are an Apple user, go into your app store and just search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa. If you're an Android user, search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, order and book online. Again, if you are a business and you want the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, to help your brand, there's so much more than just advertising when it comes to this world. I'd like to have that conversation with you. Reach out to me, please, via jasonbailey.com, and let's chat. With that being said, let's begin.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. And that's some stories.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to the Vinyl Road Podcast.
All right, there it is. Episode 26 of the Vinyl Road Podcast. It is a podcast about rock and roll, life on the road, life and everything in between, all on the BPX. That is the Bailey Podcast Exchange. 3 different shows, 5 days a week, one feed, jasonbailey.com for all of your details. Thanks for being here. My name is Jason Bailey. Right there, that is Mr. Brad Stewart. How are you, Brad? I'm looking for your applause. There we go.
Let's go. I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Good.
All right.
And once again, we got another guest, a great guest, singer, songwriter, guitarist for the band Saving Abel. It is Mr. Scott Bartlett. How are you, Scott?
Greetings, gentlemen.
How'd you like that intro with that nude Brad Stewart walking the beaches?
I may or may not be taking notes for my metal bank later.
You're doing the pictures, snapshots.
It's the memory shot for the money shot. That's what it's called.
That's what it is.
So what's the connection, Brad, between you and Scott? From what I understand, you guys are very close. Was there ever a tour with either Shinedown Fuel or even Saliva with Saving Abel, or what's the connection here?
Oh yes, Saliva, Saving Abel for sure. We did quite a bit with Puddle of Mud and just just over the years. I've been in Saliva, of course, 10 years. You're OG Saving Abel, just having just being in it, man. And they're on the festivals. It's just a big family, So we'd always bump into each other, and of course, Scott lives in Memphis. My first band was pretty big in Memphis, and of course Saliva is from Memphis. So yeah, man, there's a lot of connections there. I'm sure he's got a story or two about Saliva and some of the guys. He may or may not want to share those stories, but we'll see.
Please share. So, Scott, how is that? I mean, you've been in this rock and roll world for a very long time, just like Brad. How do you this may sound like a stupid question. Like, how do you make friends, but like real friends? Brad's a real friend. He's a real dude. He's not a phony baloney. And I've seen a lot of the phony balonies. So how do you navigate those waters in that rock and roll world?
You can usually tell pretty quick, I think, when it's just going to be like a surface kind of versus like when you get into the in-depth conversations about like, how did you end up where you ended up in this business? I mean, Brad's got his own like illustrious career that goes through like tremendous highs and he's just
and some lows too. Trust me.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Some deep lows.
But there's so much like genuineness with regards to Brad. So I gravitated towards him immediately when I saw that lineup of Saliva. I like that he's like formally educated too. I am also, and I liked his story of just what led him where he is and what keeps him going. He had creative ways that he keeps making money in this industry, which is essentially impossible at this point. So I think we're just like-minded idiots, basically.
Can you live? I mean, for those that aren't familiar, obviously, I would find it hard to believe, but Saving Abel and the hit song "Addicted," huge song. I remember being on the radio side of it and going, "Great song, just played it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, give me some space." That was a huge song. Are you able to live off of that song when it came out some years ago?
When it first came out, yes. But it came out before a little thing called iTunes took over.
Yeah.
Like right before it. So we were like at that wave where if you wanted to buy that record for the first 6 months, you really had to buy the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
And then it changed, and then the climate changed, and then it's gravitated towards streaming. So I've watched it just do this. But it was a hell of a ride when it was cool.
Shaking your head, Brad. You're like, yeah, that fly from the inside. I was, woo.
It's just everything just went down. I mean, people, that's why I swear that's why you're seeing all these bands. I'm like, y'all are back touring? I thought y'all hated each other. It's like, it's because they have to. Because touring, I mean, you have to get out there. Those royalties, they didn't dry up. They certainly aren't what they used to be. So, and not to be Lars Ulrich about the whole thing, but he was right in a lot of ways, man. People just, it just became almost in like, it had no value anymore. Almost, you write a song and you're like, wow, it's on it's everywhere. And who's tracking this? And how much is it really generating these days. Because at least with radio, you know, there's a satellite, it pings the satellite when it's spun. There's an audience for that station. There's a time of day. There's a perceived value for that track. You have a percentage of that track. It's being documented, and then you get a check, you know. And same with the streams, but the money is just not. It's just not there. It's just not. I mean,
It's like
it's
pennies
almost
on the
for free.
dollar.
You know.
I always
Yeah.
say that with regards to what we do, Brad, it's almost like a 3-tier system. It's like you had your publishing, your touring, and your merch. And the merch was essentially contingent on the touring. I mean, sure, you can have your website, you know, and you can hope for those online sales, but once the people see the merch in front of them and they're at the show, they're more likely to buy it.
Mhm.
So you have to tour. Like the publishing has all but dried up. So you have to tour to even sniff the merch money. And those are our last 2 tiers to really make real revenue.
The lead singer, Buck Cherry, his name escapes me.
Josh
Josh
Todd.
Todd.
Right. I saw him. He posted something not that long ago about what you guys are talking about. He's like, we have to tour. Like, there's no question. Like, we can put out all the new albums and songs we want. We have to tour in order to live. So that's pretty much the statement for any musician, right? You have to tour.
Absolutely, man. And
That.
yeah, I mean, and you know, and like he was saying, the merch on the road, you need the impulse buy from the fans, and hopefully you kicked ass and had a great show, and they're excited, and they want to bring home a T-shirt or whatever. And, you know, hopefully you got some good stuff out there, because that also contributes to the machine that you're trying to run, and then puts gas in the engine there. You know what I mean? So I don't think some people may not realize how important that is, but and you know, and of course, you know, the show guarantees, all that stuff all comes into play on the tour, but you know, there's a lot of overhead for touring, especially, you know, if it's routed improperly and you got 500 miles between every show, and you know, there's gas, and there's just, you know, there's personnel, there's salaries, and you know, it's just lodging. I mean, it's a lot, man. So, but yeah, you have to go out there and do it. That's what, like I said, I mean, when Creed got back together, I was like, damn, like that was like hell froze over type shit.
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses too, man.
That's another one.
Yeah, I mean, Guns N' Roses, you know, I think I've told you, Brad, the story of it is I was the guy that leaked the information on Guns N' Roses, and Axl's publicist called the radio station, and I had to have this secret meeting with her, and she was telling me, hey, look, we need you to back off a little bit and stop talking about this, because it's actually happening. And I found, I'll never divulge how I found out in the leak, but it leaked from I will say this, I've never said this. It leaked from the law firm that represents a portion of the band. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So it landed in my lap. And from there, it gave me all kinds of publicity, which is all what radio people want, right? You know, and then she was like, I need you to shut up. I need you to shut up. I was like, what do I get in return? Because there's no reason for me to shut up. Like, this is huge for us. And she goes, I will get you an interview with Axl Rose. Now, I've been promised an interview with Axl Rose in the past, and it never happened. And I said, okay, well, when is that going to happen? She goes, when we announce that they're getting back together. When are you doing that? We're doing that with Howard Stern. Okay, I can understand that. I get number 2. I'm okay with that. Never happened. I got jobbed so bad, man. It was like, just got worked over the entire thing. Now, I never went on Howard, announced the tour, never got the interview and stuff. But those guys, you know, and do you think that maybe Scott, and we'll obviously get into the situation with Saving Abel, with a lot of issues within bands are manufactured by people outside of the band, and all it would take is beer and pizza to figure it out and move forward?
One would like to think so. Sometimes it runs a little deeper. Sometimes there's just a lot of factors at play. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like any other interpersonal relationship. It's like any family. Hell, Brad just lived it too.
Yeah.
We were talking privately about it, and I was like, man, you know what sucks about this whole thing? It's like it's not even interesting anymore because we're both going through exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of similarities between Saliva and Saving Abel as far as band situations. And And even quite recently, some things have happened.
Well, it seems like the guests that we're lining up on this podcast, Brad, all have this common thread,
They
Pete
do.
Edwick, with Ricky Rocket, which we never mentioned stuff. So the story, for those listening, there are, correct me, Scott, if I'm wrong here, there are 2 Saving Abel's that are
That's
torn,
correct.
which is very, very odd. Like even in Saliva's case, you have Josie and you have Saliva. We've gone through that over and over again. So there are actual 2 Saving Abel's. There's one Saving Abel that has you and other members, including a new lead singer, right? And then there is the other Saving Abel that has the original lead singer, Jarrett Weeks, and I believe the original bassist, correct?
No, so there are 3 OGs total.
Okay.
One version has one member, which is Jared Weeks and his version. The other version has myself and Jason Null.
Okay.
So stage left and stage right guitar. We can't really say lead and rhythm because we both swear we do both.
Okay. But you both book as Saving Abel.
Yeah, and that was the court. Is my understanding. I actually wasn't in court. I had to testify. I got asked by both gentlemen to be in their version. I landed where I landed for my own reasons, and I still stand by those reasons. So I've sided with Jason Null, and they're both allowed to tour under the name Saving Abel until further law decrees otherwise. So
That's
it
so
almost,
confusing. That's so
it's
crazy, dude. I mean, that's like when there was 2 Queensryches. Remember
it's
that? I
not
mean,
even
it's
different from that. That's
that's
why
so
we're
fucking.
not even original with like our drama.
But don't
Yeah.
you think, as far as take your guys' issues, table those for a second. Don't you think that's confusing to the audience? And
All I
fan-
care about is the fans. I mean, I look, I care about making enough money to survive, which is hard enough in the music business. I know that I'm really good at what I do, and I know my fans support me no matter what. And I've just told them constantly, I am so sorry this happened. We did everything we could. It's just people like cooler heads did not prevail, and we found ourselves in this scenario. And those 2 have made it abundantly clear they're not going to get back together.
Mhm.
So a
So
judge actually said, "Okay, you Jason can use Saving Abel, and you Jared, you can use Saving Abel, and the agents and the fans are just going to have to figure out which one they're going to go see." Is that like a documented decision that was made,
that's
or it's
literally how it was put to me.
wow?
And I had to do a lot of thinking, and this is where I landed. You know what I'm saying? So I just we just did our first tour with this version, and you'd have been proud of us. We had about 6 sold out shows.
All right.
We're outselling the other version. I'm not even taking stabs. I kind of want the best for everybody. I know I'm supposed to say that anyway, but like I just I want to earn my money and keep my fans happy. And me, I mean, I'm trying to be as diplomatically correct here as humanly possible, but I know it's confusing for the fans. I'm not the judge. I didn't make the decision. I just, write songs and play guitar and show up on time.
You seem like
Can
you
you
seem like
confirm who the singer of your version is, though? Because there was another situation with the singer that was in your version, correct? And
So
the
we
original
had
singer.
Jared Weeks left the band in 2012-13, and we invited a gentleman by the name of Scotty Austin to come sing for us. And that's when we met you, I think, Brad.
That's correct. Mhm.
And so Scotty toured with us for about 9 years. And then we actually invited Jared to come back to the band. And he came back, and it ruined itself very quickly. And after that happened, we offered it to Scotty. But Scotty wasn't able to do it because he was doing a solo tour, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And it was like, look, we got to make our presence known now. We can't just keep waiting. It's either you're in or you're out. And he was like, if that's the case, I have to be out. So I respected his decision, but we had to find a new guy. And Jason had his other band, and we asked his singer to come in, and he's been fantastic. A gentleman by the name of Randy. Um, and he's killing it. He really is killing it. I mean, you can probably just go see stuff on YouTube. Honestly, I don't really YouTube myself, but I hear it's good.
yeah, I watched it, and the blessing and the curse of having a lead singer that's name recognition as big or bigger than the band. You know, it's cool to have that guy, but when they leave or something happens, it's not cool to have that guy. I mean, I think Saliva's kind of in that situation where Josie's a name. You know, Josie Scott, for whatever reason, you know, people know the Josie Scott, probably because of the Hero song with Chad Kroeger, maybe, who knows? You know, Jared, I don't know if he got to that status. You know, Saving Abel, the name was bigger than the lead singer as far as marketing goes. So I think you're pretty good there because, you know, the fans, you know, the P1s, the preference ones, they're coming because they've been there since day one. But the P2s and 3s are coming to hear Addicted. That's all they're coming for, right?
That's it. And I mean, you just said something that pretty much hit the nail on the head. I never thought about that before. With Saliva, yeah, they had it was what, Nickelback featuring Josie Scott.
Actually,
right?
just Chad Kroeger featuring, not
Chad
even Nickelback.
Featuring, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that really would be the fundamental difference, I think, there. I mean, except for the diehards who know that Jared Weeks is the singer of Saving Abel, but yeah, the name recognition doesn't always add up. I mean, you know, we get people, I get it all the time. Like my chick and I make fun of me for it because I'll be at merch and somebody will be like, I am the biggest Saving Abel that's ever walked the earth. Can you introduce me to them? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, you look like security. And I'm like, I don't think you're the biggest fan, brother. I really don't. But you know, that's on you.
We had it happen where people would come up to Bobby and say, God dang, man, how'd you lose all that weight? Like they thought he was Josie, man. Or Bobby be standing right there and we hadn't played yet or whatever. And they were like, yeah, it's or we did like a meet and greet and they're like looking around puzzled. And they're like, is Josie gonna come out?
Yeah.
I'm a huge Saliva fan. I'm like, if you were a huge Saliva fan, you know he ain't coming, not out here anyway, not with us, you know. So we've had some funny, weird shit.
One of those Make America Rock shows that we did. I was in the bar doing a meet. Remember, I had my own clothing line, so I was in the bar like hustling that, and some dude came up to me, and I had just gotten to be pretty close with Bobby. Actually, we were hanging out after every show, you know, and he wasn't in there, but somebody came up to me and he just said, "Man, I am the biggest Saliva fan." And he's like, "I got to ask you a really important question." And I was like, "Okay, what you got?" And he's like, "Is Josie Scott going to bring the thunder and the lightning tonight or not?" And I was like, "I'd venture to guess he's not." But and then I told Bobby that and he looked at me like so defeated. And I was like, "Man, I wanted you to laugh. I thought it was kind of funny, you know, because I get it too, you know, and I'm an OG in Saving Abel, so it's frustrating, but it's just part of the gig. I mean, whatever.
What would it take, Scott, to get the original lineup of Saving Abel back together and getting along?
I mean, practical minds.
Meaning what?
Meaning kind of like exactly what that is. Like there's just a lot of juvenile. Can I cuss on here? Because it's all bullshit.
Fuck
It's just
yeah, you can.
juvenile bullshit, man. And it's very stupid and selfish. Because people should always be able to get over, I mean, really anything, barring a few things, you know what I mean? So what this is about is something so stupid and juvenile that it's almost embarrassing that one person thinks they're so much more important than everybody else. It's like we put this thing together from the ground up. I was there at the very beginning. I toured 306 shows that first year in the van. You know how that goes, Brad. I mean, it was just like relentless. But we built it, and we built it with people like you. We went to every radio station. We became like the babies of rock and roll, like the band that everybody was rooting for. And we built it on the sweat of our backs. And it's like that to me is more important because you've been in this business long enough. What happened to us wasn't just the hard work. There was a lot of luck and a lot of favors. And we're dishonoring that by not overcoming this. But there's only so much I can do. So I just show up and play the damn songs.
Let me ask you this. When Jared came back, I really felt like, you know, and I like Jared. He's cool. I don't have any, you know, I try to stay out of, you know, this kind of thing. But did you really see like a huge spike in like not only demand for the band, but the finances of the band, or did it kind of just stay? Because y'all had done it with Scotty Austin for quite some time, and I feel like, of course, in certain markets you're going to do better than others, and in certain markets you're going to sell out. Like you're saying, you're selling out the last tour. You sold 6. So from an ego perspective, from his perspective, do you think that he just thought that now that he's back, all of a sudden it's like, GNR reuniting with Axel, or like, what was the situation there as far as him, and why did he leave again?
So there's something that's sort of unfortunate about the whole thing and I'm just, I'm going to talk candidly because I'm sort of sick of being quiet. Um, it comes down to, yes, some ego. At the very end of the day, the world needs all types. Am I right? I mean, we need people that are leaders. We need people that are hard workers. Saving Abel has always kind of lacked leadership. We really have, and we've been like reliant on managers to help manage us, and there's just juvenile relationships going on, and that happens with a lot of rock bands. You know what I mean? But I think Jared really, in his heart of hearts, wanted to come back and lead the band into the next, future of where rock and roll was going. And the problem with that is he's not a natural born leader. And we watched that happen. We were mismanaged. Money was mismanaged. There was just a lot of things. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything. We were just mismanaged because this could have all probably been squashed with the proper management. And it's pathetic to say that because we're all grown men. I mean, these guys have kids. I don't have any children of my own, but these guys have kids and they have to be father figures and mentors. But sometimes when you're handed those keys to the kingdom at a young age, you lose that part of what living your life is supposed to be about. And the fundamentals of being a leader slip between the cracks. And I think you probably know what I'm talking about, Brad.
Yes.
It tends to happen to a lot of singers.
Yeah, it's like having a great quarterback on a terribly coached team, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that analogy is pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's for everybody. It's not just for rock stars. I mean, it's literally for anybody that gets paid to do anything for a living. You have bad leadership, you're fucked. You're just.
Well, that's the thing. When you write, like let's call it what it is. Addicted is a hit song about a blowjob. That doesn't mean you have the right to be a city planner or a government official. It's like, that there's some skill sets that slip between the cracks. And unfortunately for us, we were mismanaged. And then I think everybody tried to sort of steer the thing and we butted heads. And if I could go back in hindsight, I don't really think I could have fixed it.
Now, nothing could have been done.
I don't think so, man. I really don't. I think there's other factors at play. I think there's people's significant others, but we're not going to get into that.
I was wondering about that one too, because sometimes the old missus steps in and starts running the show, and you're like, "Wait, we didn't agree to this part of the situation. Now you're managing us and in control of the money and the merch, and whoa, we need to see some books here. We need some transparency because that can be very, unfavorable for band members."
You guys had a Yoko Ono? Got a Yoko Ono?
It definitely reared its ugly head at us. And,
really?
Yeah, and we, before I knew it, that people were trying to dress me differently. I mean, it was like Spinal Tap.
Wow.
How did they want you to dress?
My hat was no longer an option, my staple cowboy hat, and I couldn't be sleeveless anymore. I had to have like sleeves.
Damn.
Brother,
I don't own sleeves. Look at me right now. I'm here in my house. I don't have any sleeves.
Brother, I never wear sleeves. When I do these podcasts, I put a hoodie on. I never wear sleeves ever.
I don't like to be confined.
Well, so you're trying to tell me that a member of the band's wife or girlfriend was kind of taking over that managerial role and then trying to micromanage you guys, like you in particular, Scott, saying, "Hey, put some sleeves on, take the damn cowboy hat off." That happened in Saving Abel?
I mean, I couldn't make it up. I'm embarrassed to say it. So, yeah, it happened.
Huh. Who's
It actually feels pretty good to talk about it because I haven't really. I've stayed quiet. I don't care anymore, dude.
yeah, can you say who's woman, who's chick, who?
I think if you go back and watch everything we've talked about, you'll put it together.
Yeah. It might have been someone that came back into the fold after a certain amount of time, and
Gotcha.
things start being run differently, and the band was like, well, hey, I think when we agreed to this, it's still going to be a democracy, but it still sounds like then without a strong leader or a third party like manager type to kind of guide it, it was too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Then everyone tries to steer the ship, and it just doesn't work that way either.
Well,
you get it.
In any ensemble cast, okay, and I've been there, done that, is everybody wants to feel like they're number one, and they feel like if they're not number one, it's a demotion, and it's not. You know your role, you be great at your role, and be a part of the team. Not everybody can throw the ball, not everybody can run the ball, not everybody can catch the ball, right? So you always need a filter person. From the radio standpoint, I've always been that. But I've been a part of shows where you've had these huge egos in the room and they're like, I'm a number one. It doesn't matter. It's just numbers. It's just labels, but there always has to be a guy that filters. And so Bobby's the filter and Saliva, right? Brad, Wayne was the filter when he was alive, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their dynamics in the band, and those change, of course, when people pass and things, or when members come in and out. But I mean, when I came into the band, I want to say Paul Crosby was running the show, because Dave Novotny, who was the the original bass player, was an accountant, and he controlled the books, and he dealt with the money side of it. Yeah. And so then when he was let go, then Paul took over, and then Paul had a run at it. And like Wayne was the kind of guy. I love Wayne. I mean, he was the best, but Wayne needed his own assistant just to get through life, let alone the fucking try to run the band. So that wasn't him at all. He would never have done that part of it. So once Paul wasn't doing it anymore, Bobby took it over, and also he had gotten sober. So he was able to, he wasn't, hung over all day hating life. He was clear headed, and he was able to deal, and he made a lot of friends with the agents and made relationships, and
he was very tactful too, man. I was really proud of him and impressed watching him sort of help build that. I mean, I remember all the incarnations. I was in a side project with Paul, and then with Wayne, like I got so close to Wayne there before he passed. I mean, I was going to tell you on the last podcast that we did together. Quick thing, one of the last things I remember about Wayne, we did a show with y'all. And I think there were 2 stages, and we were like going on right after each other. But Wayne came running up. We got there late, and he was actually like running. And I was like, oh man, that's going to be serious. He runs on the bus, and he's like, Bartlett. And he's got that black Les Paul, and he's like, I think I'm going to get me a tattoo, man. I want to get an arrow right here between my titties, and it's going to be pointing up at my head, and it's just going to say, I'm with stupid. And then he goes, you still got that shirt company where you put the tattoos on your clothes? And I was like, yeah. He's like, could you make me a shirt like that?
That's like, amazing. Absolutely. That's so Wayne. I could totally see him doing that shit.
Cool, man. Hey, I'm going to go rock these fuckers. And he walks off the bus.
That's a great story, dude.
That's amazing.
That's such a phenomenal story.
Oh my God. That's awesome, dude.
So, how do you guys market yourself, and like with your tour versus the other Saving Abel tour? I noticed that the other Saving Abel has the .com. You guys have the .us. I don't know how invested you are in the domains, but I would assume, pretty sure I'm right on this one, really important, so your fan base can find out. But, like on the other Saving Abel, they've got the picture of them. I don't know if you guys have it on yours, but gets very confusing. Is that ever going to end?
So here's the thing. It has to end on a long enough timeline. And I just don't have the answers, because we're basically going to have to keep fighting it out in court. And this version was late to the party with regards to the domain names and the Facebook. And Facebook doesn't want to mess with it. Meta doesn't want to mess with it. Nobody seems to want to mess with it. So we're going to have to deal with it in court. Guess what? That costs money. So
Mhm.
we're just both having to stay touring basically to fight each other. That's how ridiculous this has gotten.
It's crazy too because we went through that, of course, when Josie first, came back into the fold and it was it written Saliva really big, and then Josie Scott Saliva, so it was like people were like hitting me up, hey man, you coming to Little Rock, bro? I can't wait to see you. I'm like, we are? No, fuck, I don't think so.
Right.
Unless something got fucking booked, I don't know. Fuck, we are. So then I look. Oh, okay. I see. It's
Mhm.
the other version. And here's the problem too. If that agent of the other version undersells him as an
Yep.
artist and the name as an artist, the next time we come through there, they go, "Well, why would I pay you this much? I just had the original person for
Dude,
this much."
we are literally
So,
living it right now.
dude,
They
yeah,
they followed our tour and booked themselves within 50 miles of us like every other day.
fuck off. That
Yeah.
sucks, dude.
So
I mean,
that
it's a pretty smart play, but it's just kind of
I
like
mean,
they're shooting themselves because you know me and Null, man, we are lovable morons. Like we can get along with anybody.
yeah,
And these
for
promoters,
sure.
they see it, they see the look in our eyes and they're like, that's a real cat right there. Like those OGs are really like trying to just play music. We're not doing anything nefarious to meddle in their business while we try to work this out.
uh,
Whereas the flip side of that coin is that they're doing whatever they can and they're kind of showing their ass, if I'm being honest.
Are they saying things from stage? Because we had that go down too. People were saying things from the lead singer position against us, and then we were then named or called the Timu version of
yeah.
I saw
Timu.
that.
Timu,
I opted
yeah.
not to text you about that, but I
Which
saw it.
we made shirts. Jason, I still have yours. You got to send me your address. I got to ship that shit to you. But we kind of made light of it because it was so just like, come on, man, like. Without this Timu version, you wouldn't have survived the last 10 years because those royalties were coming in, those songs were being played in front of people, and they're
Well,
actively buying, consuming that music that you put out, which God bless you for putting it out and doing a great job. But you know what I mean? It was kind of like, okay. And then it just started getting nasty. Then there's diss tracks, and then there's, all kinds of shit. But,
I told Brad, Scott, I told Brad that, like, look, relax with the Timu comment because the kids love Timu.
That's
Like,
funny.
I mean, it didn't hurt us at all. I'll tell you that much, at least.
like, the kids would much rather go and buy something off Timu than Amazon or anywhere else. I would be honored to be called the Timu version of anything.
I think it was in passing, like he did an interview or something, but it made it, of course, that's
people
that was
people took it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was the other diss track, which I think went too far. We don't have to talk about that. But look, it's juvenile. I mean, I was kind of afraid this might come up, and I'll just sort of like touch on it. When you come from Memphis, there's a lot of personal when it comes to Saliva.
Mhm.
There really is, because Saliva was one of those bands that really represented if you worked your ass off, you might get out of here.
Mhm.
They're really my and then they were heroes. And it's like you've said in countless interviews and stuff. I mean, the dude left. Like he left publicly. And
Mhm.
then some legal shit went down, and what went down, and that's just how it is. Like yours is a little more cut and dry than mine. And I would be probably more team Josie than team y'all, except that I love you guys. I've watched you go through it all. Like I've gotten really close, way closer than I ever got with Josie. I had a surface friendship with Josie. We were friends when it was convenient for him, and I'll still like be there for him if he needs me. But I gravitated towards y'all's version for a reason. And I'm really rooting you guys on, man. I mean, I'm watching you kill it out there with that dual axe attack. It's awesome.
Yeah, this I just thought about something. You bring up the Memphis thing. So I do 3 different shows 5 days a week. So this is part of other shows, right? And I had a guest on one of my other shows this week. His name's Hernandez Govan. And he was just acquitted of charges in the Young Dolph murder case, this rapper out of Memphis.
I didn't see that. Okay.
So he was the guy in your neck of the woods that was all over the news, represented by one of my sponsors as attorney. And he almost said kind of the same thing you just said, just in a whole different world. He was like, man, when you come from Memphis, you just don't know. Cause I asked him, I'm asking, do you know about hits before they happen? I'm like, what is this with this rapper beef stuff? You know what people like to do? Breathe. Why can't you move on from it? And he goes on to kind of talk like you're talking, Scott, of this, like, dude, it's about respect. It's about a way of life. It's a culture. So there's like a Memphis culture that those of us that aren't from Memphis don't know anything about, right?
Well, Brad was here. I mean, you were here for like a month with Shinedown, right?
Oh yeah. The thing was with Shinedown, Rob Cressman, I know you know Rob, the program director of the all
93X.
93X in Memphis, he championed Shinedown as well, and he was super early on the singles. And we went to his house. He would throw parties and play piano for us.
He
I mean,
had
dude
that piano.
he was great, man. His wife there, I mean, amazing people, right? So we would go to Memphis, and people were like, it was like the Beatles or something, man. And I was like, how the fuck? And they were like, it was cool because, we hadn't really experienced that out of Jacksonville, Florida, where we're from. We hadn't yet really too much. We'd go to Orlando, and it was kind of that way, or Tampa, but that was close. Then we go to Tennessee and to Memphis, and it was like people like knew us by our first names, not just the singer. They knew my name. If you know the bass player in his name, you're a fucking fan. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well, they say this. They say
So
that,
they'd come up and we'd be like, wow, and they fucking knew every word to every song, and the record had just come out, and we're like, man, this is crazy.
Well, 93X was huge as a station, as a reporting station, and they, in Memphis is actually cited more often than any other city or town in the world when it comes to music. I mean, you're talking about the Stones, like you're talking about all that stuff, the people that came from Muscle Shoals. Like, we are the birthplace of rock and roll. We are where Elvis Presley went.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got
Sun Studios. Yeah, dude.
Sun Studios. We're BB Kings. We're the home of the blues.
That's right.
There's a tremendous musical legacy here. But what's funny is that active rock scene, it was you guys, it was Saliva, it was like Egypt Central,
Three
all
Doors.
those bands.
Three Doors.
Three Doors, yeah, they came out of what, Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, something like that.
They were Tupelo. I thought a couple of them were from, which wasn't Elvis from Tupelo. They're in that area, like northern.
The radio station that launched Three Doors was the Fox. And
was that Don King?
I don't know. I just know that, we were talking about this before we start recording, Scott, is that, your story was, one of those stories, like the Three Doors story, like the Bon Jovi story of radio station launch band. They get, a whiff of band and they launch it. Shinedown's, I think, is kind of a little bit different than that. But, the Bon Jovi story is probably, the gospel of it, cassette, radio station, New York, New Jersey, whatever, plays it, gets a lot of requests. There's actually a DJ in the booth. People are actually using phones to call to request. Three Doors kind of very similar with the Fox. You guys very similar, right? I mean, it was, hey, look, we're from Tennessee, we're from Memphis, fan base, and then a radio station, small market, blew you guys up with Addicted, right?
You know something? I just realized I didn't put this together. Paul Ebersold did that record for Three Doors.
He did.
And he was based out of Memphis. He was at Ardent Studios, where like Houses of the Holy was. Yeah, so that's the Memphis connection to Three Doors. Because I heard that original cut of Kryptonite, and it was about half the speed. It'll trip you out to hear it, man. I mean, it's like way slower.
Really?
Yeah.
Paul sought us out in Shinedown to do the second record for Shinedown, and we didn't go with Paul, but we went to a studio, and we had actually done some live performance, like acoustic stuff in Ardent. I don't know if you remember back when we were
Paul
doing that kind of stuff.
Paul had left and gone to 747, I think, with Skid Mills.
Oh.
And he did try to get you guys.
Yeah.
Because he was telling me, he was like, I might even need you to cut some guitars on this. And I was like, dude, you'll have Jason Todd. Like, I think you're going to be fine. Dude's a shredder,
Yeah.
And we were forming Abel at that point. That was like 04, 05, something like that.
Right, because we did that second. We got off cycle like March of 05, and we had another record out by, what was it, September? I mean, they were like, all right, we know y'all were just gone for two years and stuff, but you get 2 weeks off, and we need
Isn't
you
that
to
how they do it? That's how they do
they're
us,
like,
too.
and we actually moved Jason. So Jason and Melody lived in Atlantic Beach, moved them out of their house there, which is up for sale now for $9.5 million. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we recorded parts of the Us and Them record in that house because Melody, they had gotten another place, in Jacksonville Beach. So the main, the main vaulted ceiling, like living room, was where Barry was cutting drums, right? And so anyhow, so that's kind of an interesting. We ended up doing the record with Tony Battaglia, which I know you know who that is, and you too, Jason Bailey.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of pressure on us for that record, having had the success from Leave a Whisper, and also there wasn't a lot of time. So it was like, all right, y'all didn't write on the road. We were like, when do we have a fucking spare second to write? And it was like,
that was
well,
a theme. That was a theme for you guys in those active rock bands. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about the Three Doors album that they recorded here in Longwood. It's actually called, I think, 17 Days or 13 Days is the name of the album. I think they did it for Walmart or something, but it was almost like, and you guys, you're going to obviously know better than I, but it's almost like in that 2001 to 2006 period, the labels knew that you guys had a shelf life of the genre of music. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely,
100%.
man. They didn't even want us to go to Europe. They were like,
Really?
well, we went to Europe, I think, once. I don't even think we did on the Leave a Whisper. No, we didn't on the Leave a Whisper record cycle. We went that following that November, or maybe even the next year. We went to Iraq and we did like the UK and we did Germany and shit. But they were like, no, we need to break in the US before we even talk about going anywhere else.
Yeah.
So we built the brand here. And then, even after I was gone out of Shinedown, I would see them going to Europe, and, there'd be a band like Blackstone Cherry, who we actually helped, get a deal and get with Bill McGathy. They play like Wembley when they go over there. And at the time, Shinedown was actually supporting those bands that weren't as big here, but they go over there with Soil or somebody, and they're supporting, because we we never built it like that in the early days. So it was almost like them starting over.
Right.
Which now, of course, that's not the case. They do well pretty much everywhere. But and that was the reason, though. They wanted us here for those first couple records because, like you said, they knew that early 2000 rock and metal active rock sound
Shelf life.
might not be there for two. I mean, it might be 5 years, like a 5-year thing or something.
Were you forced to do that, Scott, with Saving Abel?
We had to write the Miss America record very quickly. Very quickly. And I mean, I think that the record came out great, but it wasn't what the label wanted, because they ended up dropping us after that record. Like, we had a three record deal, and we only fulfilled 2 records, and they were like, yeah, the second one didn't do the numbers we wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
What did they what was the problem? They didn't think it was there was
Virgin kind of like, and Capitol, they had merged. They had really just stopped doing rock. They were like, we're just going to sign Alice in Chains and Slash and drop everybody else. And that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
Pretty good roster so far. I mean,
yeah, right.
Especially Alice in Chains, but I mean, they came over from Colombia. That's interesting.
Alice in Chains and Slash. I've wanted to know this. Who came up with the name Saving Abel? I think it's one of the best band names, at least from that time.
So Jason, this is funny. Jason and I, we couldn't start our MySpace page because we didn't have a band name. We had some photos, we had some songs, we had a spec deal with Skid Mills, but we didn't have a name. And you know how bands are. We'd throw around stupid ass names. Like, I remember Roger Dodger and like just like dumb band names,
Big 10-4. That's a Big 10-4. Which is actually a band
name. Yeah.
That's actually a band.
Out of Orlando, yeah.
That's right.
So Jason goes on these kicks, and he kind of like, he looks for song inspiration and like weird things online, and he ended up Googling the story of Cain and Abel just to like read something about it. And there was a thing, like a headline that said, there was no saving Abel from his fate at the hands of his brother Cain.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so I remember he called me And he was like, if you talk to Jason, you'd understand. He was like, man, Bartlett, what'd you think about Saving Abel? And I was like, Saving Abel. And I immediately got the biblical reference. And I was like, do you think people might think we're a Christian rock band?
Mhm.
And I remember he was like, well, are you a Christian, Scott? And I was like, we're not getting into all that right now, Jason. We got a hit song about a blowjob. That's going to be confusing, but we need a name. So like, yeah, lock it down. Let's go. Saving Abel it is.
Saving Abel it is. Let's fucking go.
So
Love it.
I have a theory on band names, right? I think the best band names have the sugar and sweet. Judas Priest, one of the
Great
best.
name.
Band. Even Smash Mouth. You have the sugar and you have the sweet. I've always been a fan of that. Saving Abel, Cain was the bad guy. Abel was the good guy. So it's kind of a little of a mind F of you're like, you are Cain because you're saving Abel, or are you not Cain because you're saving Abel? It makes you think if you actually dig into it. That's how my mind works, So
I can dig that.
Always
Right.
loved the name. Always loved the name,
Yeah, man, that's like some existential thinking right there. I like it.
You had no idea. You're like, just write songs about blowjobs.
That's all it was. I mean, I was like, man, we're not going to do that thing where we argue about the name back and forth. Just lock it down. Let's go do that MySpace thing. Let's get
Yeah.
Tom going.
MySpace. Yeah. Make sure
MySpace.
Tom's there. So tour wise, new music for Saving Abel, you're Saving Abel. What's going on? Where will you be, and how can people find it?
Well, if you go to Facebook, there's two of them. One has a ton of followers, which we built and we don't own right now, so that sucks. We're the one that says SA, just the lettering SA. And I mean, you can find us anywhere. I think if you Google us now, we pop up first because we're actually kicking some ass right now. And we have 3 shows left in the year in December. They're pretty much like all in Alabama. And then next year we fire up the latter half of January on the West Coast. And I did see the Whiskey a Go Go is on there, so that's exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean,
you're just there. Yeah.
we'll see what the future holds. I mean, look, the band sounds very, very good. High energy. Randy is killing it on vocals. Rich is actually a great drummer. His double kick is like very thunderous. So we're definitely hitting pretty hard. All cylinders firing. We dusted off the cobwebs. I mean, I would look when you're a Memphis musician, it's hard to put a band that you're in up against anybody because you take it so seriously. Like the finest musicians in the world are in this city. And Saving Abel's right where we need to be.
That's good.
Who's playing the bass?
Who's playing the bass? Scott Wilson.
Okay, I thought so, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I love Scott. Scott's great, man. Yeah. Okay, just making
Wilson's
sure.
not the OG, but he's an OG. He's been around for a decade plus.
Lord knows he's earned his stripes with you boys.
He's earned his stripes. He's
All right,
done
you
it.
got some time on your hands? You want to go and play bass for Saving Abel? Is that what I hear?
No, man. Dude, Scott Wilson's the guy. I love him. He sings great harmonies too, and hell of a musician, sweetheart of a guy. He's fucking great, man. Yeah. No, I was just making sure because you hadn't mentioned who was on the bass, and I was like, I'm pretty sure y'all wish me a happy birthday, and you're all together. Like, that was just on the 19th. So, you know what I mean? So,
you know what's funny? Today's his birthday.
Oh, that's right. He shares it with my late brother, Mark. Yes, that's right. And I always was like, that's, and I get along with Sagittarius, something about Scorpios and Sagittarius. So Scott Wilson and I get along like peas and carrots, man. We're bros. So love that.
Well, we just finished that tour. He's doing great. Wilson, if you watch this, sorry I didn't mention you. I kind of had a lot to talk about.
It's like, okay, so from my standpoint, again, I come across as the fan standpoint, and I hear the relationship between you two guys, and you've got 2 very big bands, and I'm just like, why don't you all just get together and go fucking tour? I mean, like, have a Saliva and have an Earshot and have a 3 Days Grace, and then have a Saving Abel, like just a Lilac out there. Just, why don't you guys get together and go out on the road and make some money?
You'd be surprised how the politics work with that. A lot of it tends to be like inner agency. Like, I mean, why do you think the same bands always seem to tour together? It's because they're with the same agents so they can make more money.
And they only have one check to collect. Then they distribute it to the bands instead of, well, hey, this agent needs this band's part separately because now he's, you know what I mean? So that's why, or with that, they have the same manager too. The manager gets to commission the thing.
Well,
you know,
we've toured a lot with Saliva, and we definitely love to do it again next year.
Absolutely, me too.
I'll probably hit up Bobby and see if we can't get something going.
It just doesn't make any sense to me from the business side of things. If I go, okay, I've got Saliva, who's got countless hits, right? You know, and I've got Saving Abel, and I've got, well, I think 3 Days Grace is going to be probably a different conversation just because of, you know, maybe what they charge and what they want to bring in. But you have like Earshot and all, you know, all these other bands that are on like Judge and Jury even, and you go, okay, collectively, you know, we're looking at 10 plus hits, and that's what you want for a concert. You know, you want people to come in and sing along. That's why people go to concerts. They want to sing along. They want to have drinks. They want to have a good time. They want to forget about everything in the outside world, politics, religion, bitching and complaining. I want to hear Addicted. I want to hear Click. That's what I want to do. So why don't you find a person that says, okay, I'm going to put these bands together. We're going to charge X amount of dollars. This is what everybody's going to get. This is what I'm going to get. And I'm going to book you on 50 different places throughout the next year. And it's a set amount of money each time. To me, that sounds very simplistic, very simple, you know, but who am I?
You would think it would be. And, you know, that's happened on tours in times past, like Live Nation, or someone will just buy the tour, or it'll all be Live Nation rooms. And so then that's convenient for the agents and for, you know, of course, across the country, you're dealing with the same organization, which, yeah, let's go and maybe get a sponsor and wrap the buses, do the whole fucking thing. I mean, let's go. But you know, again, though, like Scott was saying, like, yeah, you know, there's, you know, these guys have to also, you know, they have to, there's a big finger. Hey,
That would be me.
what was going on there? But yeah, I mean, everyone has to, you know, it just has to be, it has to make sense, and people have to be reasonable, and budgets have to be put into place, and, you know,
just my 2 cents. What do I know? I'm just thinking out loud. All right. Look, Saliva news as we, you know, get into this Thanksgiving. Well, this was released on Friday, so we had Thanksgiving yesterday, but the holiday season, Saliva 2026. Do we have any news yet?
I haven't. It's been kind of quiet around here. You know, we did that last bit and did a couple one-off shows after, and we've got two like that. Maybe I think we're doing a show in, oddly enough, in Missouri with Tyler. Is it Tyler Farr? He's a country guy.
Yeah, Tyler Farr.
And then, which was interesting to me. And then we're doing a show in Oklahoma, Chickasha after that. And that's it for the year for us. So it's like, I think the 27th and the 28th, we were supposed to do something February, March time frame, but I haven't seen any confirmed dates. So I don't know.
I'll hit Bobby up, man. Let's try to get something going for 26.
Absolutely, man. And even if it's a, you know, just do a package, and maybe we have someone like 3 Days Grace heavy on top, you know, or yeah, and then we support our band support. I mean, for me, I think Saliva, our band does well in a support slot, you know. Headlining for us it's good, but it's just a lot of pressure.
I saw y'all that time with Brandon Jordan, the Hinder show.
That was a good package. Yeah, that was good.
Support band. Yeah, you guys killed it.
I think it's something, not that we have something to prove when we're support, but we kind of have something to prove. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, you know, not to say that, well, we should be the headliner or any of this bullshit, but it's just like, first of all, we get to play less time, right? We do like 45 minutes instead of an hour and 15. You got a lot of energy in that 45 minutes. You go out there and just, you know, you get ripping, you know, but you got to kind of pace yourself when it's longer.
Your job is to get them fired up, man.
That's right.
I mean, that's what I remember. I told Wes from Puddle of Mud one time. He was like, "How'd you guys do?" And I go, "Man, we spit on it. Now y'all got to put it in." And he was like, "How am I supposed to go on after that?"
I'm keeping that one. That's great, man. That's amazing.
All right, let's wrap it up. We appreciate everybody listening. Vinyl Roadies. Remember, there's a private Facebook group for you. all of our social media, like the Instagram for the Vinyl Road podcast, as well as the other shows on the BPX. You can get all that on jasonbailey.com. If you're not a subscriber of the other shows that I do, please consider it. jasonbailey.com, so you can get 3 different shows 5 days a week. Brad, do you have anything before we go?
Just always grateful for you guys, for listening and for supporting rock music and the musicians that make it, and coming to the shows and buying merch and saying hello. And yeah, it's good to see y'all out there, and we'll be seeing you a couple shows, for the end of the year, and then hopefully we're going to be pretty busy next year. We just have to get with you, Scott, and hopefully make some magic happen.
Don't forget, you're welcome to Rockville this year. I'm putting that's part of my son. Yep. I don't think he listens, but for Christmas, I'm getting him and his fiance a concert survival bag. I mean, he's a big concert rock kid anyway, but just one of those creative gifts, the clear backpack, binoculars, and water jugs, and this and this and this and that. And I got him the 4-day passes to Rockville. And so now I'm just trying to figure out parking. So he'll go out and watch you guys support you out there for Rockville.
Get him some liquid IV, because it's always hotter than.
Oh yeah. Daytona. Sure. Yeah. Scott, we appreciate you coming on. You got anything before we get out? Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, and I can message you. I've got something better than that.
Liquid IV?
Yeah. I've got something better than that. That's just been branded well, but I've got something better than that.
Okay. Hit me up, man.
Email and text. I'll email it to you. Now, full disclosure, it's self-serving because we sell it. But the only reason we sell it is because it's better. We used to use that. I own a live ozone therapy spa, so we need all of our patients to be hydrated. And we used to use that until we found something else. I will tell you.
I'll try it, dude.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Anyway, Scott, thanks for coming on, brother. It was a great conversation. And Brad, of course, I think I can speak for you because you guys are boys, but please come on anytime you want to vent, get it out. This is just some hanging out, good old times kind of podcast. No rhyme, no reason, just good times. That's all we do.
Like we're here to help you heal.
You guys did a great job, and thanks for having me on.
We're the rock star healing podcast.
Yes. We're here to help you heal, brother. This is like therapy for us too, but also I could tell you might have healed some too from this.
Maybe so.
Maybe even just a little, bro. That's what we're here for. You're welcome.
Kicking the heels off of it. That's what we'll say. I mean, talking about Austin, Paul, all of our guests, even Pete that comes up. Dude, everybody needs to heal with the fellas. All right. Look, for everybody listening, thanks. Have yourself a great, safe rest of your day. If you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. But if you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. And sure the shit, don't be posting stuff on social media, or you will be losing friends like that. Until next time.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. I got some stories.
That's it for this episode. Check out jasonbailey.com for more shows. Until next time.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.